Test.
Honestly,
Audience.
Recording secretary, please start the meeting. Chair, the meeting is now being recorded. I would like to call the regular meeting of October 14, 2024 to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Before we begin, we would like to introduce our newest attorney.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I'd just like to take a moment to introduce Senior Assistant City Attorney Melissa Crosswaite, who can say a few things about herself, but she'll be representing the Planning and Building Agency to staff when needed.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. I actually was in Santa Ana 14 years ago. I served as Deputy City Attorney here 2010 to 2012 and House City of Hawthorne, City of Orange, and also with private law firms. So now I'm very happy to be back in Santa Ana. Anything else? I'm UCLA grad. I'm kind of an LA transplant. I spent most of my time in LA, but now I'm in Orange County. I'm very happy to be doing that. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Before we begin, I would like to remind my fellow commissioners to turn your microphones on when speaking and off when not speaking and when speaking. Thank you. Members of the public may attend Planning Commission meetings in person or virtually via Zoom. I now invite the Commission Secretary to describe the way the public can access and participate in this meeting.
This meeting is being live streamed via our portal at www.santa-ana.prenco and to YouTube at www.youtube.com/City of Santa Ana videos. If you would like to provide public comment, you may do so in the following ways. Join the meeting via Zoom, enter meeting ID number 831-609-58. Discuss, select the hand icon to let us know you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the name you entered. You can also join the meeting by calling 669-900-6833. Enter meeting ID number 831-609-58322. When the item that you would like to comment on speak, you will be called upon by the last 3 digits of your phone number. After you're called upon, you may press 6 to unmute yourself. For those who are attending this meeting in person and would like to provide public comment, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. Time is up.
Moving on to public comments on non-agenda or non-public hearing items. Secretary, does anyone wish to speak?
We do have 3 speakers, and we also received public comment via email that was distributed to you.
We'll call forward Bob Adams, Mike Tardif, and Richard Chirini, thank you, to come give your public comments.
Director Tai is not at tonight's meeting.
So there we go. Good evening, Planning Commissioners. Thank you, Director Mintai, representatives, and staff. My name is Bob Adams. I am here to comment on your proposed action to rezone the SD 84 Industrial Overlay Zone. Today, I met with Richard at 830 East Washington Street, Marble and Stone. Since 1978, his story resonates with me as it does with so many others. I am not going to bore you with poor us. However, just for one, you came to the city of Santa Ana with your hopes and dreams of making something of yourself and for your family. You worked in your capacity for the city of Santa Ana and earned your retirement. At the ripe old age of 65, you announced your retirement only to have the city of Santa Ana tell you, sorry, your retirement fund has been squandered and it's gone. How would you feel? How would you tell your families? If all that makes sense to you, then you can, for a moment, know how so many of us property and business owners feel. I am here to tell you, no change is not going to happen. I understand that. So what will happen? What can we do together? Possibly increase city enforcement of existing M1 and M2 zoning code restrictions, additional environmental oversight along with recommendations on how to mitigate unacceptable conditions, incentivize land-only owners to develop and change to the new zoning, perhaps specific acceptable carve-outs. What doesn't work? Eminent domain, no money. Amortizing for 20 to 30 years, no. All this does is prolong the death sentence. In a nutshell, please leave the existing promised zone overlay alone and work to change unacceptable issues. We business owners are jobs and cities need jobs. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike Tardif.
Hi, I'm Mike Tardif, business and property owner here in the city within the transit zoning code area, SD 84. I'd like to read you some excerpt, Green Hut on this issue. Came out Sunday, titled State Justice Law Leads to Injustice in Santa Ana. Nearly 17 years ago, I, Stephen Greenhut, penned a feature column for the Orange County Register about Santa Ana's Renaissance Plan, which was a city idea to drive out nearly businesses and replace them with high-rise transit-oriented districts featuring condos and apartment. I'm all for high-rises, housing construction, and downtown improvements, but not in a manner that, as Stephen wrote, he said he'd call for this would call for a forced gentrification plan or sending good-paying industrial jobs. After a fracas ensued and State Senator, now Congressman Lou Correa, intervened, Santa Ana officials compromised with an overlay zone that allowed these businesses to continue operating, even as developers built housing projects. Stephen says he's talked to business owners in the area who have had minor permits and business changes rejected by city officials because of the moratorium. Even if the city let time, a permanent zone change would destroy the improved value of the land. By the way, residents in the protected Logan and Lacey neighborhoods fear the moratorium and the ensuing zone changes will drive up rental prices. Hasn't talked to anybody. They haven't talked to the industrial community about these changes. They haven't talked to the residential communities adjoining. This is a huge, massive change. It's just not a small parcel. You're talking hundreds of businesses. Dowdy hasn't done squat for reaching out. It's not right. These businesses invested heavily in the properties, including construction of new buildings. The price will be reduced to the price of the raw land. And that's at the benefit of high-rise industrial developers.
Thank you, Mike. Your time's up.
Thank you.
We'll now call on Richard.
Chiarini. So my name is Richard Chiarini. Here for 46 years. I own a business from Brooklyn. What I'm doing is just trying to introduce myself because I came to Orange County and my job was to search for a business location for my company. So family owned, my father, brother, and myself. I chose Santa Ana at 78. And the reason was it reminded me so much of my home, which was Brooklyn, that we were organically grown, live-work area that I found in Logan. We were between two railroads. These industrial buildings and these industries built our city. I did a lot of research. And what I realized is that the 5 freeway, the 50, the 57, the 22 was crucial, just like Atlanta was that location. And I have only invested in properties in the city over the years. My children were born and raised in Santa Ana. My grandchildren born and raised in Santa Ana. So he's in astrophysics. All the children have gone to El Sol and speak fluent Spanish. I feel that I grew up in this area and now I have a chance of losing my business and that I can't function here anymore in the city. I survived the Gulf War. We survived, the pandemic. We can go on and on. 9/11, and now it's possible that my city doesn't afford me to continue or hand this. I've only been kind and generous to the city. I've never caused any problems. I'm a good neighbor. And I came with a bag of tools accomplished over the years. And I can't see that it's going to be the city of Santa Ana that I love and have championed all these years. And I have a possibility of not owning a business soon. I don't think it's not just, I'm not a big business. I'm a family-owned business. And one other thing that I'm thinking of is that we're selling to large major corporations, that State Street, Vanguard. That's who we're selling out to. And we're displacing all these local grown businesses. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard. Moving on to the consent calendar.
By the way, with the sports. I move we approve the consent calendar.
And I have a second from Commissioner Benninger. Secretary, please call for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Benninger?
Aye.
Commissioner Escamilla?
Aye.
Commissioner Leo?
Aye.
Commissioner Pham? Commissioner Wu?
Aye.
Vice Chair Ramos? Aye. Chair Oliva?
Aye.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Pham absent.
That concludes the consent calendar items. Moving on to the business calendar. This is the time and place for public facilities meeting number 2024-01 for the park located between 30th Street and King Street. Staff agency will provide a short presentation.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Hawk Scott. I am the Executive Director of Parks and Recreation. So Chair, Commissioners, public, hello, how are y'all? About a renaming of naming of one of our newest parks out on King Street. So I'll give you guys a brief presentation. So again, like Santa Ana Parks and Recreation Community Services is requesting the Planning Commission approve a public facilities naming of the park located between 30th Street and King Street to Artesia Pilar Pocket Park. We are hoping that you recommend this resolution so that we can get this done. A little bit of background for you guys. The location, as I mentioned earlier, is between Fair Street and water capture system. The reason it's a pocket park because there's not much you can do on that piece of land. So, but again, it is still used for people to walk, sit, and it's a park, but it's a mini park, pocket park, and there are these around the area. My top source suggestions from the community to assist with the name of the area. We had over 30 suggestions that received that met the Santa Ana Municipal Code criteria. What is the criteria? Identifies locations by references, distinct geographic, environmental, or development features in the immediate area, history of the subject area, identifies a person or family having made an extraordinary donation, a distinct significant contribution to the city of Santa Ana, including past mayors, council members, board of commissions, members, officers, or employees of the city, or not anyone holding such pertaining. So what is the recommendation? Based on a streets and maintenance municipal code criteria for the vacated right of way between Fairview Street and King Street, the PRCSA recommend the name of the vacated right of way between Fairview Street and King Street to be named Artesia Pilar Park during the 2025 meeting, which is my birthday, so it's kind of cool. So y'all don't forget. So, but also at the, we got the suggestion to name it a pocket park. So we are asking to approve the recommendation naming of the vacated right of way between Fairview Street and King Street are the adoption of the resolution. Any questions?
Thank
Yes,
you.
Madam Chair.
We'll start with Commissioner Benninger. Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, you refer to it as a pocket park and not as a pocket park. It's still a park, right? People can still walk there and walk through it, walk dogs, do whatever. Why?
Okay, it just like says some parks are named like that. Yeah, some of the parks helps identify what kind of park it is for people that may not come to it. But again, is at the discretion of you guys to recommend this to go to City Council.
Commissioner Escamilla.
No questions. I think it's pretty self-explanatory as far as the naming.
Commissioner Wu.
It was 6-0 for the Park and Rec Commission to name it Artesia Pilar Park. And then that recommended for Artesia Pilar Park, right? How did it get to Artesia Pocket Park?
It was recommended during the when we out to the park, and so that's why we're coming to you guys to what you guys would like us to forward to City Council.
By who?
By Parks and Recreation.
The whole commission?
Yes.
Artesia
Pilar Park, but it has been suggested that it be called a pocket park. So you guys kind of have two suggestions on you, but again, the Parks and Recreation Commission did suggest Artesia.
And I know that people were very happy because it's a beautiful little park there. It cleans up that area and it's a good walkway, and you did it in such a way that it's storing drainage in the area. So I congratulate you on that. Chris has had another suggestion for another name, but we can't do that.
No, we cannot name it the Wu Park.
even though lifelong resident, you know. I don't have any actual comments.
Vice Chair Reynolds.
Yeah, just one comment. If we wanted to drop pocket, I would support that. But if we want to keep it, it's okay.
Because if people are Googling a park and we come across just the name park in a park, they're gonna expect something bigger. They're gonna expect, maybe they want to have a party and they want to get in touch with the city to rent out a space or whatever it may be. So I think the designation does help folks know where they're going. So I would vote for that designation. Do we have any other comments from any commissioners? Commissioner.
We don't have to vote on Pocket Park, right? We could suggest Artesia Pilar Park, which was the designation by Park and Rec, by the community that suggested and by the city council. It was only suggested by, we don't know who, at the celebration. So we can vote for, which I'm more in favor of Artesia Pilar Park because it's clean.
If I may, something we are doing on our website is we are labeling what kind of, like all our parks in the city, what they are. Are they a community park? Are they a neighborhood park? Are they a pocket park? Or are they a regional park? So that's something we are doing. Like I said, currently none of our cities do have those destinations. So just wanted to put that out there, but we do list it on our website, what type of park each park we have in our city is.
But doesn't it seem kind of diminutive? Like that. And you know.
Yeah, Commissioner,
Earned the right.
Sorry, Commissioner, I was gonna say, if you'd like to make that motion, I'll second it. Would you like to make the motion?
Are we ready for motion?
Yes.
I'd like to move that we approve Artesia Pilar Park.
Second.
So we will call for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Benninger,
Aye.
Commissioner Escamilla,
Aye.
Commissioner Leo,
Aye.
Commissioner Pham, Commissioner Wu,
Aye.
Vice Chair Ramos,
Aye.
Chair Oliva.
Aye.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Pham absent.
That concludes administrative business calendar matters. Moving on to the public hearing. I will now review the process for the public hearing so that everyone knows what to expect. Staff will provide a presentation and answer questions from the commission. The public hearing will be opened. The applicant will be given the opportunity to speak, limited to 15 minutes. Members of the public will be given the opportunity to comment, limited to 3 minutes. Applicant will be given the opportunity to respond to comments made by the public, limited to 5 minutes. The public hearing will be closed. Discussion will return to the commission with formal action taken to approve, deny, or continue review of the application. Please consider the following suggestions when organizing your comments. Please state your name and address, strictly voluntary. State whether you support, oppose, or are neutral to the proposal. Your statement should include all pertinent facts within your knowledge. Please note, decision on this matter is final unless appealed within 10 days by any interested individual or party. Recommendations on this item will be forwarded to the City Council at a later date for final determination. This is the time and place for zoning ordinance amendment number 2023-02, amending sections 41-54.5 and 41-610.5 of the Santa Ana Municipal Code to include modifications to expand the eligibility for sites and to ensure consistency with the California Civil Code Section 835. Please note that no action on this applicant has withdrawn application. We'll be moving on to item number 2. This is the time and place for conditional use permit number 2024-12 for the property located at single family residential R1 zone district. Before we begin, do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regard to this item? Heidi Jacinto will provide a brief presentation.
Thank you, Chair Oliva. Good evening, members of the commission. Item number 2 is for Saigon Reformed Presbyterian Church, conditional use permit application of 5321 West McFadden Avenue within Ward number 1. The applicant Bao Fan with BPDO Architects on behalf of Bao Xuan Wen with Saigon Presbyterian 2024-12 to allow for construction and operation of a new church. Staff's recommendation is that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution approving CUP number 2024-12 as conditioned. The property is located within the low-density residential general plan designation within the single-family residence zoning district. To the north of the property is the surface parking lot that serves a neighboring religious assembly use located east of the site, which also contains a school. A religious assembly use is also located to the south and single-family residences to the west. The lot is approximately 1.46 acres in size, which equates to 63,698 square feet. The proposed church would be 6,000 square feet, and the proposed multipurpose building would be 2,665 square feet. The site was originally developed with 50s, which remained temporarily throughout the redevelopment by Calvary Church. In March 1961, CUP number 1961-31 was approved to allow for construction of a sanctuary with 175 permanent seats, 400 seats in the second phase, during which the existing residence was to be demolished. In July 1961, CUP number 1961-55 was granted, approving a revised site plan on a smaller portion of land had not been secured. In 2010, CUP number 2010-24 and variance number 2008-34 were conditionally approved to allow for reconstruction of the church, 1,050 square foot multipurpose room, 3 offices, and a kitchen. The variance allowed for deviation maximum height requirements to construct a 62-foot bell tower. However, the entitlements were not executed and the approvals ultimately expired. Here we have some site photos for reference of the existing site conditions and some additional photos. Here's the proposed site plan. The applicant proposes the construction and operation of 1,000 square foot worship building and 2,665 square foot multipurpose building on a site previously developed. Phase 1 would involve construction of the worship building, followed by phase 2, which will focus on the multipurpose building aisle, adding a secondary drive aisle, creating a parking lot with 70 stalls, installing landscaping, and providing a conforming trash enclosure. Here we have the proposed elevations. The south would be the view from McFadden Avenue and the proposed floor plan of both buildings. Staff is recommending approval based on the following analysis. The proposed project would transform space, improving both safety and the appearance by bringing the site into compliance with the Santa Ana Municipal Code, with a contemporary welcoming community gathering space that enhances the overall environment as well as help deter any illicit activity that the vacant lot has attracted. The location was The project is not anticipated to create secondary impacts related to parking, lighting, or noise to the surrounding community. Traffic generation would not significantly affect nearby intersections or negatively impact the surrounding community. The site will offer 70 parking spaces, exceeding the Santa Ana proposed fixed seats. Lastly, the project aligns with various goals and policies of the general plan. Pursuant to the California Further Review under Section 15332, a Class 32 exemption, which applies to infill development. Therefore, a notice of exemption will be filed for this project. There is no fiscal impact associated with this project. In closing, staff is recommending that the -12 as conditioned. That concludes my presentation. Staff is available for questions, and the applicant is in attendance and also available.
Thank you. Commissioner Bencher.
Yes, right now with the schedule for the services, just Sunday services, or is there any during the week?
So I believe there would be, so the primary workshops during the weekdays and then services in the evenings.
But during the weekdays, there's nothing routinely. Some churches have holiday obligations and things of that nature. Is there anything special that they have during the week?
The project narrative included in the staff report indicates that the primary worship activities would be happening on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. with approximately 80 to 100 participants. And then as open office hours from 10 to 2 daily. And then Friday evening youth meetings with about 20 participants. And Wednesday evening from 7 to 9 women's Bible study with about 25 participants.
Very good. It's also been expressed to me concerns about windows not being large enough to see. And I quite understand why that was presented to me. Could you go back and show the pictures of the building, what they look like right there? And so that south elevation is facing McFadden, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So what you have on the right side is the worship building, and to the left would be the existing office building closer to the front that would be remodeled to match the worship building and the multipurpose building. And behind it is the multipurpose building.
Okay. I still don't see the concern that was expressed to me. Show the landscaping again. I'd like to see where landscaping is going to be done.
So there would be landscaping along the front, along McFadden and at the sides and at the side property lines, as well as throughout. And landscaping has also been reinstalled throughout the parking lot to be able to provide the landscape fingers as required by the code.
So if I look at that correctly, I see 4 trees. Is that right? What's going to be planted?
Those appear to be in the right of way. Included in I believe in the agenda packet, there was a landscape plan.
Thank you, Heidi. So the landscape plan on the packet that was included shows a generous palette of trees from Chinese pistache to cherry blossom to carrot wood, African box. So tallying the numbers in my head, there would be about 54, 55 trees planted on the site.
Sound good. And I love the thoughts of cherry trees, especially in the spring. So thank you.
Commissioner Scanio,
No questions on this one.
Commissioner Wu,
There's several churches in there, St. Barbara, the Apostolic Church, the Armenian Church. And on Sunday, St. Barbara has a large congregation and there's a lot of traffic. In Euclid, it's more busy during the regular business day, Monday through Friday with traffic. And so it doesn't seem like it's incompatible with usage of in a residential neighborhood because it's on R1, right?
Correct.
Okay, because there are other existing, places of worship nearby. EDC,
Sorry, what was that?
their numbers of seats is 80. So size as a congregation, probably about 100 or 200, right? So something in that area for the 80 seats. Office space, right, and counseling areas or other kind of use, right? Okay. Yeah, and that's the question. I just want to confirm my observation that's interfere with the businesses in the area because they're not open on the weekend and things of that nature. Thank you.
Commissioner Leo.
Just 2 questions. The first one is, have the residents been spoken to immediate area? They get notified, I assume they got notified.
Yes, the neighborhoods in the vicinity were notified.
Okay. They were here a decade and a half ago, got entitlements, nothing happened. So land sits fallow, basically. My care got entitlements way back when for 1 Broadway, big pile of dirt. There's lots of properties around the city that sit fallow. We approve this tonight. Let's say we approve any entitlements, small congregation, looks like an expensive building. I don't know how you pay for it. If it doesn't get built, then this property sits fallow again. And could it be used for housing? Could it be used for something else? Yes. So the question, if we give entitlements and nothing occurs after the 10-year window. So I'm okay with the project. I'm gonna ask the applicant how they're gonna pay for it. Some of these properties that we do all this work on, they pay for it. And then it sits fallow when the community wants them. So I put it out there just as a general discussion later.
Mr. Ramos. I don't have questions for staff as well. So now the public hearing is now open. Would the applicant like to speak on the matter?
Good evening, Commissioner. I'm the Pastor Bao. I'm the founding minister of Saigon Church.
Can you move the microphone just a little bit closer to you?
I'm Pastor Bao. I'm founding minister of the Saigon Church. I immigrated from Switzerland, but our Saigon Church were burning down almost 21 years. We're suffering a lot for worship. We move here and there in worship. So today we appreciate very much for the city of Savannah consider to approve for our building in order we can start construction as soon as possible. We thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Recording secretary, have you received any written communication or is there a member of the public that would like to comment on this item?
We have not received pending this meeting in person and would like to comment on this item. Please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you're participating via Zoom and would like to comment on this item, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on this item, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. It seems that we have someone.
Gutierrez? Edward?
Yes.
You have a little bit of a playback sound.
The family that owns the property at 5401 West Champion Avenue.
Edward, I'm so sorry. We have a little bit of a sound issue and we can't hear you.
Edward, if you are playing or watching the meeting via YouTube, can you please?
Clerk, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Sound on your audio. It sounds better. Good. I think you can share now. Edward,
Hello?
you can share
Yes.
now. Your time starts now.
Yes, I'm Edward Gutierrez and I represent Campion Avenue, which is west of the church. We've attempted to obtain further information who has an outdated voicemail message about office closure.
Edward, you're supposed to be giving us a comment. We cannot engage in conversation with you.
Okay.
Is right. Thank you.
There is not adequate parking on the weekends for the 3 churches in this vicinity.
Edward, you're at time. Thank you so much for your comment. I'll bring it back to the Planning Commission. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Commissioner Benninger?
This is no questions for the
For the applicant?
Yes, the applicant, I would follow up on Commissioner Wu's, Leo's concern. Do you have a financial committee that's going to be running the finances that the church is paid for?
Excuse me.
How is the church being funded?
We thank God for delaying this program for 20 years. So we paid on the land, pay up already. And now we have enough fund for building. Therefore, we can start anytime when commission approval, because the church, we need it very much.
Very good. So you've purchased land already, you have the funds to build. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
only the fund, if you already raised almost enough. 2025, I invited all commissioner come to attend our negotiation in the building. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Invite us, I will come.
Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Wu?
You know, you said you almost have enough. Do you have enough to start construction and finish it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner Leo?
My only question is now, since person of 5401 West Hampton raised a question about parking, is it an issue? City staff, on Sundays, obviously, everybody's gonna be depending on worship hours, and we know St. Barbara's is very busy. So I'm just trying to figure out, is there an issue? Is there something we're gonna have to look at? Because I put that out there. Is there an issue? Is there something we need to add to the approval? Come back in 6 months, let us know. I mean, you guide us on this one.
So based on the number of seats, they are required to have 52. They've also done the focus traffic study that showed or revealed that there would not be significant impacts to the surrounding community. I believe we have a condition lanes. However, to add a condition of approval related to containing parking on site.
I'm okay with that. I just, when you think about the churches in the area and the parking in that during probably morning time, maybe we should have a 6-month look back. I don't know, just something of that nature, just so if you think just doing that is enough, I'm okay with it. If whoever makes the motion is okay.
Yeah, thanks, Commissioner. It's certainly within the commission's purview to add a condition like that. I can tell you that the assembly use are more robust than we've probably ever recommended to the commission, just because we have a lot of lessons learned from other community assembly uses. So there's a condition that almost treats it like a drive-through, where if you have any parking or stacking extending into the street, they have to be responsible for containing that on their private property, and that also the use here is being contained to a church, and that this is not to be allowed to be rented out for third party like banquets or third party into a church and what's normally a part of a church's operations. If the commission so desires to add a condition about coming back in 6 months, so certainly within your purview, I would just say in this case, the conditions of approval go above and beyond what is typical for a community assembly use.
It has nothing to do with this one, but has to do with other throughout the whole city and the staff enforcement and condition you face on it. The others that lined up along the street causing havoc, and the neighborhood has tried to do something about it. And then we can go on besides the police. So you're right on in terms of looking at the conditions. And I think I agree with Commissioner Leo that if the staff feel in this case, it's okay, I'm okay with it. I'm glad to hear that you are looking into it in consistency with the other complaints in other churches throughout the city. Thank you.
So let me try to craft a motion then.
No, we still have a
go ahead.
comments and questions from
Sorry.
Vice Chair Ramos.
I have a question for staff on third-party rentals, and I'm wondering if this is, if we've imposed this type of restriction on other churches at any point. I know we've approved a few since I've been on the commission.
Yes, thanks, Vice Chair. This is consistent, although I'm having difficulty recalling specifics off the top of my head. But it is consistent, not just for this type of community assembly, but for other project types where conditions of approval clearly state of the scope, and it also makes it clear for the applicant as well that this is what they are having approved. So that's the best I can answer your question.
So, so thinking about churches, and churches are like nonprofits and operate in the same way, and sometimes they will rent their space to help bring in income to do or not do, based on the language that we have right now.
So as drafted, condition number 10 on the resolution states banquet facility for weddings, funerals, or other community assembly events. So what that is intended to capture is that this is for primary use as a religious assembly, such as the church that's being proposed, as well as any ancillary functions that they have to use the facility to host their wedding. That is permissible because that's an ordinary function of a religious way. Then they could use their facility for the memorial services as well, the full spectrum of life. With that being said, though, if they were to full on lease out the church to a third party operator who would then operate the use as a banquet hall, let's say, not relevant to the church functions, not relevant to the parishioners, but just as third party for-profit use, then that is not something that condition contemplates.
But can they rent it out themselves directly to non-source of income? So I would be concerned if we're restricting a church's sustainability.
I would be pressed to say that this would be a restriction on sustainability, just because that may be a leading question, right? We don't have enough financial information. Is that this condition would restrict that activity?
Okay, and then follow-up question. So is that restriction being imposed because we want to ensure that the use that we're approving is what's maintained, or is it also because of parking concerns?
Is to make sure that the use is contained, and that desire by staff stems from an importance of looking at potential community issues that could be created through things like traffic, noise, parking, etc. So it's not that staff recommends the condition arbitrarily, it's land uses.
Okay, and then one last question. So thinking of all the churches that exist throughout the city, only those that were approved after a certain time that may have had this language, have this restriction, while the others may not.
Correct. Anyone that had a CUP with that condition would be subject to it, and then those that did not have that condition, or those that don't even have a conditional use.
Okay, thank you. So I know that there may be a motion made, but I would have interest in removing that condition. And maybe if there were concerns about parking with any of that type of use, like we could add churches will do offsite parking when necessary. But yeah, that's something I would propose if there was interest.
I don't have additional questions. Commissioner Bender.
I do. You bring up a very interesting subject, and a number of churches have fall festivals or spring festivals or as fundraiser, and it chews up a lot of their parking when they permits in order to have such festival, at which time you could address parking at that time. So I see you're shaking your head. So is that correct?
That's correct. They would be subject to the city's land use certificate approvals process.
All right. So there's no need to add that into restrictions.
It's the temporary outdoor activities.
Commissioner Escamilla. Commissioner Wu. Additional questions or comments to the applicant?
Yeah, I think that Rue that you were mentioning is third party. Like if I wanted to set up a disco, not permissible. But if someone wants to get married for a funeral, it is permissible. Okay.
If you attend a church.
If you don't attend the church.
Well, that's Lucy thing. You know, your cousin could attend the church, right?
Commissioner Wu.
All right, let me take a crack at this. I'll make the motion is to approve conditional use permit number 2024-12 for the property located 5321 West McFadden, located within a single family residential zoning district, to add a condition to come back to us 6 months after completion and operation of the church situation in the area. Due to the, I don't want to say that, the aggregation, but due to the proximity of the other churches. Because I can foresee an event that goes on at St. Barbara's where they come to this church and say, can I lease your parking spots? Because I got too many people. So I can see how they could work with each other, the churches and the Coptic church as well, because they're all very, I understand Commissioner Ramos's concerns, and I guess that's something we may want to address, but I'm not adding that to the motion right now to complicate it even more.
Do we have a second for Commissioner Leo's,
I will second that.
So just Commissioner Leo, just to confirm, would you consider a friendly amendment to strike out condition 10?
I would entertain it if we could add a 6-month review. If they want to have someone else use the church or whatever, after completion, to see if they have rented it out and what the impacts may be. Okay, does that make sense to staff? Because we don't want to overburden it, but at the same point in time, we understand, because there are questions of size of congregation, revenue, operation, that.
Previous project entertained almost like the incremental opening, where so during the first 6 months, you would approve it with condition number 10. And then following the report from staff risen during that first 6 months, if there's none, then condition number 10 would automatically be deleted. And that way you don't have to take formal action. You don't have to have a public hearing. So you could include that as part of your motion, or if Vice Chair Ramos wants to restate that in her motion. Or friendly amendment. Yeah.
Accept it.
Okay,
Staff has it.
understood.
Okay.
Can you explain to the applicant
Yeah,
exactly what that would be?
So what the commission is recommending is that the church be allowed to have condition number 10, which restricts the activities just to the church, and any ancillary functions be what is approved. If after 6 months and we report back to the commission that there's no issues, then condition number 10 would be deleted, and you could have additional events by third parties like banquet and other uses. And it's ordinary or customary if the chair wants to ask the applicant if they accept the changes and the conditions.
Can I ask a question? Along that line, if the churches in the area join together, they have to go through the permitting process.
They still have to do all that.
Correct.
Okay, so that'll be regulated on that. We don't have
Yes.
to worry.
with the new amendments that, well, I shouldn't say amendments, correct? That's not the right language. With the new conditions. With the new conditions added to your item, do you accept?
Would anyone else like to speak as well? It doesn't just have to be.
We accept. Thank you.
Then if I can just make one comment. So thank you, Commissioner Leo, for entertaining that. So for me, that was really important because I have their values and they'll often open up the space for community events. So I just want to make sure that where possible, we're not adding any restrictions that would like isolate some of the organizations from the religious institutions that often hold large space in a place in our city where like we don't see a lot of it. And that we're also not inhibiting the church from being able to bring in additional income. So just think of I think of the local nonprofits and a lot of the larger events have happened graciously at church sites that often lease it at no cost. So thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve the item with the conditions that have been added?
I move.
Go ahead.
I'll second.
And technically, you already had a motion by Leo, seconded by Benninger with the friendly amendment from Ramos.
There we go.
You're good.
The second's good. Okay, roll call vote. Thank you.
Commissioner Benninger,
Aye.
Commissioner Escamilla,
Aye.
Commissioner Leo,
Aye.
Commissioner Pham, Commissioner Wu,
Aye.
Vice Chair Ramos,
Aye.
Chair Oliva.
Aye.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Pham absent.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yes,
Good luck to you.
yes.
I'll,
Yes, we'll send the invite. Thank you.
Yeah. Good catch.
Okay, we'll bring it back. This is the time and place for the site plan review number 2024-02 for the property located at 701 South Flower Street, located within the Henninger Park Specific Development Zoning District. Before we begin, do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regard to this item? Matthew Kilroy will provide a brief presentation.
All right. Good evening, members of the Planning Commission. Thank you for welcoming me. To sum up this item before you, Jaime and Virginia Rivero are requesting approval for site plan review number 2024-02 to allow the residential addition, exterior alterations, and an interior remodel to an existing single-family home within the Hendrick Park SD40 zoning designation located at 701 South Flower Street. Staff is recommending adoption of resolution approving this CUP as conditioned. The site is located within the general plan land use designation as LR7, low density residential. The site zoning classifications for Hendrick Park specific development SD40, and the surrounding land uses include residential uses to the north, east, south, and Pio Pico Elementary School to the west. The Rivero home is located at only residential units. The subject property was built circa 1920 in a California bungalow architectural style and is approximately 698 square feet in size. It exhibits features of the architectural style, such as the side-facing gabled roof, accented with vertical lathe ventwork, exposed rafter tails, an arrangement of both single and double pair hung windows throughout the house, and a tall red brick chimney characteristic. In 1921, the owner at the time constructed a garage. In 72, the owner at the time relocated a single-family residence with garage and attached it to the existing garage to the rear of the property and addressed it as 703 South Flower Street, which was readdressed as 810 West Richland Street, which is not included in the scope of work. Since then, and a home improvement in 1956. So this is a photo sheet layout of the existing conditions of the site. Photo number 1 depicts the front western elevation of the home, and photo 3 depicts the rear northern elevations where the proposed area work is to occur. This is not sure if we can zoom in, but this is a site plan of the subject property. So on the one on the left is the existing, and on the one on the right is the proposed work. The residence is proposed to be expanded by approximately 279 square feet and remodeled in order to accommodate a dining room area, a new full bath, relocation of existing full bath, relocation and expansion of existing bathroom, and relocation of the kitchen. The overall bedroom count is to remain the same at 2 bedrooms, and no new bedrooms are proposed. There will be a new front porch, 30 square feet, will be constructed to match the existing wood exterior. The work would include all new vinyl hung windows with decorative wood trim, and existing exterior lap siding will be replaced with stucco. The scope includes a new louvered front entry door in order to maintain a more compatible design in conformance with the California bungalow architectural style. And these are the proposed elevations for the project site. This is a floor plan. So let me go back real quick. So those are the elevations of the proposed site. I can't move forward. All right, cool. So this is the floor plan is shown. This is the proposed floor plan after the work has been completed. So mainly it's those 2 bathrooms are relocated in the rear there, and then the bedrooms have been relocated, and then the kitchen as well to the south or the west of the property in the bottom corner. So as detailed in the SD40 Hendrick Park Architectural Design Guidelines and the Municipal Code, all new construction within the Hendrick Park is subject to Planning Commission site plan review process. In addition, Planning Commission approval is required for all new construction of new residential units, residential additions, and new accessory structures. SD40 requires that major modifications be reviewed by the Hendrick Park Architectural Review Committee, which it has been for compliance with the architectural design guidelines. Pursuant to these guidelines, all projects must adopt. Subject property is neither listed nor eligible for listing on the Santa Ana Register of Historical Properties pursuant to Appendix A of the Architectural Design Guidelines. Staff work with the applicant to ensure that allowable modifications work with appropriate exterior materials, gable treatments, and architectural massing. Pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act, the CEQA and the CEQA guidelines, the project is exempt from further review pursuant to section 15301, class 1 existing facility number 2024-81 will be filed for this project. Staff is recommending to adopt a resolution approving site plan review number 2024-02 as conditioned. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the commission have any comments or questions for staff? Commissioner Bellinger.
Thank you. Talking about Henninger's requirements, is there a committee that looks out for Henninger Park on this, and had they looked at this plan?
They were, yeah. They were notified, and we also submitted a plan to them for their review, which they gave back to us, and we took that into consideration when providing comments.
And did they approve this plan?
They provided comments to it. So, yeah.
Did I miss that in the staff report of what their comments were?
No, one of the exhibits was the review of the comments. So number 5 of the exhibits in the staff report was the Henninger Park Architectural Review Committee letter.
Commissioner Benninger, it's also on page 4 of the staff report that the committee provided comments and expressed support for the applicant and their modifications to the building. So the full record is included in the staff report packet as exhibit 5.
Thank you. Obviously, I didn't do my homework, but right now I'm being shown the review. Thank you.
It mostly aligns with what they proposed.
Yeah, I see that.
Commissioner Scalia.
Yeah, no, I was going through the review. I guess just for clarification though, how many people are currently on the review committee? I just want to know if this is a committee of like one person, if we have kind of a robust review here, or if who's making the Henninger Park recommendations at this point? Sorry, I just didn't see a name attributed other than HR.
The primary individual performing the reviews is Commissioner Janelle Hardy from the Historic Resources Commission. She also is neighborhood president for Henninger Park.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and I guess for me, like the only thing that sort of stood out was the decision to move from siding to stucco. I think that's kind of like the big the point of divergence. So if staff could kind of explain the decision and approval process on that, the recommendation.
Yeah, so it is part of the architectural style listed in the guidelines for that type of architectural style. So we did include a condition of approval to make sure it's even more in line with that California bungalow architectural style. So item number 3 in the condition, sand float finish. So that would be consistent with the style of the architectural bungalow.
And by sand float finish, we're talking about kind of a smoother stucco or decorative stucco rather than something that's maybe more contemporary and a little bit more, my gosh. Okay, and then just to confirm that this is a single family home or 2 single family homes on a single parcel, but they're separate, or what's the legal designation there on this particular site?
That's correct. So there's one in the rear. If I go back to the site plans, maybe a little bit challenging to see, but that's 810. There to the
like with this particular layout, does that trigger any other approvals, or is it really like we were just approving everything here, but any either variance or just non-conformance with the code? Yeah, because again, it's just typically not something we see. Some more out of curiosity, wondering how we handle these sorts of situations where we have what would independently be a legal non-conforming, non-viable parcel, but still has a single family home on it. Again, I'm just kind of wondering what we tend to do in these sorts of situations.
Yes, standards, setbacks, those types of things, that it's still in compliance with all those standards.
All right. And yeah, I guess the only thing I would add, if the applicant's on the audience, no, okay, sorry. Just remaining chimney, number 1, aesthetics, number 2, it actually does damage the bricks over time if you paint over them. So if we can just make sure that that's emphasized for the oh my gosh, for the applicant, no, that's it.
Commissioner.
I don't have any questions.
Commissioner.
Whoever moved the house there in 1972 was way ahead of us on ADUs for sure. I have no questions, but this is, I mean, in reality, 12,000, what is that, 12,000 square feet, something like that? I'm just trying to.
Yeah, so the property size is 5,557 square feet.
The whole property.
Correct.
There's 2 homes on it, right? Fascinating. So that is our future. But the guy who did it before 1972.
Mr. Ramos.
No questions, thank you.
I don't have any questions either. We will open the public comment, but the applicant isn't here. Recording secretary, have you received any written communication or is there a member of the public that would like to comment on this item?
We have not received public comment prior to the 3:30 p.m. deadline. If you're attending this, speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you're participating via Zoom and would like to comment on this item, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on this item, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. Chair, we do not have any speakers.
Thank you. The public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion to approve this matter?
I move that we approve this.
Second.
I have a second from Commissioner Scalia. Secretary, please call for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Benninger?
Aye.
Commissioner Scalia?
Aye.
Commissioner Leo?
Aye.
Commissioner Pham? Commissioner Wu?
Aye.
Vice Chair Ramos?
Aye.
Chair Oliva?
Aye.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Pham absent.
That concludes the public hearing. Are there any comments or questions from staff? Commissioner Benninger. Commissioner Scalia.
Yeah, I guess just general comment. I guess if we could get an update on the transit zoning code moratorium. I know there's probably something in the works, and I'm sure we have something a little bit more permanent coming. But now that we've had residents discuss it so much, I'm kind of curious as to what the official policy. What are next steps?
Commissioner.
I don't know if I could comment on what I'm commenting on. But it seems to me in the overlay in Logan neighborhood, there seem to be three truths. Okay, one is truth for the business, truth for the residents, and truth of and other neighborhoods chiming in because we have a public comment process where we're going out and asking for opinion. But it seems like first two, the business and resident, came to a agreement back when. But when I tried to find out about it, the one resident that was working on the issue back then now has dementia, and he got angry at himself for not being able to remember the battle and what they came up with. But was the original seed of erosion that cut up Logan and Lacey and other barrio neighborhood. It was the freeway system, and every Latino, Chicano, Mexican American, whoever that was here before the border change know that. Okay, so it's the transportation thing that's also driving us now to relook at a planning area, right, and consider it in today's. I've also heard from Commissioner Leo about the need to support businesses and jobs, because you can't have a tax base that consistently, just cater to housing and bedrooms when you don't have jobs to also add to a tax base, because those bedrooms demand services. So I'm going somewhere with this, and so I know that Logan neighborhood was very happy when they were able to win by working with the Orange County housing of their own. They were just jubilant that they were able to provide that in an M1 zone. So the zoning that has worked, where you can have M1 and residential, seemed to be a win-win from the two truth of the business and the resident, without the influence of outsiders. So and the two primary truths of the residents and business would get together and really talk again, because they've had a relationship. In this case, if you want to call gentrification, and I hate those terms in this area, we put needing housing there. We allow businesses to stay. The M1 zone accommodating that. Now, if there's some change, I'd like to know, does it have to be this way? Because it seems like we can build housing, but we've got to tear down houses to do it,
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Wu, and for the other commissioners too. Just this is not on the agenda.
Yeah, I know that.
And I know we have audience members who on the record, made comments and stuff, but during staff's comments portion at the end, I'll provide an update on this. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Commissioner Leo.
Two things. First of all, the people here, the planning commission, you guys can pat yourselves on the back because the city council approved us related 6-0. So we clearly did our job. Obviously not as easy for the council, a little easier for us because it was a planning thing. And I think that bodes well for us. I'm going to see, but kudos to all of us for asking the right questions and getting the answers. Next question. It's really a question is, are ADU, when someone adds an ADU, is that added to the RENA numbers or not? Does it help you reduce the RENA numbers?
Short answer, yes.
Okay, and so my next question is, could you give us an update annually of how many ADUs are added? And I ask that question because as ADUs are added, properties get more crowded. Like my neighborhood looks really close, but it is what it is. I think about the taxation on the sewer system, on the streets and everything else, and how we answer that question going forward is going to be really interesting, because if you have these facilities, you add to the deterioration of those things. So I just wanted to know, could you provide that annually, how we're doing on that? Because if it's a couple hundred, that's all said and done. Those are my only comments, and I'll wait for staff's comments on the other stuff.
There's going to be a workshop on ADU.
Vice Jones.
Thank you. Yes, I have two maybe more requests. So one with today, when we considered a church and ultimately our motion removed or changed how condition 10 was applied. I'm wondering if that's how future items can come to us. And maybe, I don't know if staff might consider it best practice, but in general, when we make overarching comments that might apply to similar developments or similar requests that are made to the commission in the future, if we can receive them in the way that we approve them and that staff would originally do, let us know, and we can, I think that might help our discussion in the future. So that's one request. Next, I heard Commissioner Leo bring up a request for ADU reporting, maybe on an annual basis. And I would just like to add to that, if when that report comes to us, high level those ADUs count towards, and then how, if at all, the city is ensuring that those ADUs rent prices are actually within that AMI level. And then my last is just a comment, happy Indigenous Peoples Day, continue to be on native land. Thank you.
I don't have any questions or comments for staff, so I will turn it over to Ali.
Well, again, a warm welcome to our Senior Assistant City Attorney. And secondly, thank you, Commissioner Leo. I was going to report back. I like to do it for some large projects. So just to report back, as he shared, the related Bristol project was approved on October 1st unanimously with Council Mayor Pro Tem Fan abstaining due to conflict of interest. And everyone's very excited for it. So we'll have 2 late nights in a row. And then after that, there's some technicalities like a 30-day cure period and all that for the ordinances. But thank you for your support in that. Secondly, I want to just share as a friendly reminder, we heard about it this evening, but just for the record, for Community Informational Permitting Code Moratorium on Tuesday, October 22nd from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the train station community room. That's 1000 East Santa Ana Boulevard, Suite 100, as well as Q&As to the audience. There were over 3,599 recipients of a flyer that went out last week. It's already started being received by business owners, tenants, and property owners in the area. Lastly, I do want to share that the zoning code update, the comprehensive zoning code update endeavor continues. Staff is currently organizing 2 community workshops that are tailored towards the business community to hear input from both large and small businesses, looking at dates in November between the election and Thanksgiving, obviously being mindful of not stretching our community too thinly during the holidays. So as those dates get finalized well, and they'll be amply advertised as they happen. And that's it.
Excuse me, Ali, could you go over the time again for the meeting on October 22nd?
Yeah, absolutely. So Tuesday, October 22nd from 5:30 to 7 p.m. You did receive one from me personally, an email on Thursday evening. I'd be happy to resend it. Thank you.
Oh, like the Brown Act at all? And do you need to track how many commissioners might be attending? So I'll already say I'm going to be there. I live there, so I'm going.
You are welcome to notify us directly if you intend to be there. If there's more than 3 present, it's cautionable that you separate yourselves and that you don't engage in any conversation. Think of yourselves more as observers rather than participants in the meeting.
Would you like to hear now if we plan to attend?
That's fine.
Okay,
Thank
I'll
you.
be there.
Thank you.
I plan on being there too.
I was planning on it, but I don't know if, how many we're gonna get.
I won't be attending, Commissioner Leo.
Speaking of Indigenous Day, happy holiday. Along that line, should a certain cess from being rounded up?
I just caution this meeting is for adjudicating land use
Oh, okay.
matters and
I
not
thought
politics.
this is to
So
determine
thank you for your
whether-
comment, Commissioner.
Yeah, we're scheduled for October 28th at 5:30.